Hello YouTube, it is Lucid Alvar here today with some exciting theory to make you quake in your shoes or sandals or skin. I don't know what you're wearing, but I do know it will make you as excited as it made me excited, because this video is on why I personally believe these 4 people will become our next set of cast members for zombies. And let me tell you guys their names, just starting off right here. Their names are going to be Johannes, David, Alice, and Pytor. These 4 have a lot in common, and they just fit in, like they're like puzzle pieces that just fit, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start off by introducing each character and how they ended up here, why they did or what they're doing, and pretty much it's just their dossier to say. And this is for Call of Duty Cold War. There's a new teaser dropping about on 115. I know everybody's been saying like all the dates are written different. I know in the like everywhere else it's written like 15, 1, and 21, but for us it's written 1, 15, 21. So it's gonna there's gonna be something teased there. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, first there is Johannes. In his audio track or log, whatever you want to call it, we find out a lot about him. The first thing we found out is that he had touched a shimmering light, and he had thought that the light was, like a signal from God. Like he thought that God was giving him a signal. And when you hear it on the audio track, he really regrets it. And that shimmering light actually had taken him to the dark aether. He then goes on to talk about there being no God, but also does mention there being some beautiful sights here, which is kind of nice. He finds, I think this is trying to say, he finds beauty and stuff. But also he mentions being hunted, which we know are zombies. But mainly his entire thing is that he thought the entire shimmering light was, a gift from God. Like he tried touching it, and he got sent to the dark aether, which is kind of crazy. There have been anomalies everywhere. But next there's David, and compared to Johannes, David is much more calm, cool, and collective. He isn't really panicking that much, and he does mention a lot of things that started getting me poking about this theory that I have. He mentions always coming into contact with others, right? Other people that got stuck there and everything. And then the idea of this being hell. But he doesn't really believe that. He later goes on to dismiss that theory and believes this place is just a place. It's like a place in the universe, right? It's somewhere in the universe. And according to him, he says, like, what if people had come here before? And this is how they came up with the idea of hell. What if people just came here and got out, and this is the idea of hell? And we both know, we all know that this is not far from the truth. We know that this place is a depiction of hell in the Cold War series. And it is very, very, right on the idea track that he's on, if you get what I'm saying. And then he also mentions being able to see a veil, like if he could see the outside world looking in, if you get what I'm saying. Like he could see into the regular world, people that he's known and stuff like that. And he thinks that that's the way out, but he then ends up kind of like going into a sad madman cry, because he's all like, the real punishment is hope, having hope that we would probably get out, because he does want to get out. Now, the third one, this one is actually one of the most interesting ones in my opinion, and it is Alice. She has been in Peru investigating the ancient sites, when then, boom, everything went dark and she ended up here, in the dark aether. She dismisses the place being hell too. She comes to the realization that this place is like a dumping ground for the universe. Like if this place was pretty much the trash can for the universe. And she really thinks that, this place is like, it looks like dimensions have clashed here. She mentioned seeing like old things like from 21st or from the earlier centuries, like medieval times, and then 21st century stuff, and then stuff out of like science fiction. And she mentions all this, which is kind of a good point, because we really don't know that much about we know what the dark aether is, but we don't know everything about it. It's just a different realm other than the present universe we're in. And she thinks that the dark aether is pretty much like a disposable trash can. And finally, there's Pytor. He's by far the most expanded one out of all these. And the reason why I say Alice is more interesting just because of the fact that she's an historian and it happened while she was at an ancient site. But Pytor, he's the most expanded on one. He's the one that has the multiple, like logs and everything. He was sent here a week after another crew had been sent. He was tasked with finding like out what is this place, like what is the dark aether? What can it bring to me? What can it do? After his deployment, he got separated and really had not found any of his crew, But he continued on with trying to find out what the Dark Aether was in part of his mission, what he was tasked with, what he's supposed to try to find out. And, after he completed it, he went to the exfil location, but the radio to contact them was gone. It was broken, pretty much. He had no way of out. He was legitimately trapped here. He then runs into someone from the crew that got sent in a week before, because Pytor's group had actually gotten sent a week after before somebody else. And, the guy that got sent in before says that he feels like he's been in there for weeks. And now, weeks, what I would take in this context is that he means maybe like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, somewhere around there, It isn't like to the expansion of 2 months, 3 months. Like, I think he means like around like 3 to 4 weeks. And it shows us how time works differently here. It shows us that, like, time probably moves slower in the Dark Aether than it does in the real world. Like, you can come into the Dark Aether and a bunch of time can pass by it, and maybe only like a month passes by in our time, which actually is pretty heavy lore that we could use. But, let's go into the connections I drew for this. So what I'm trying to say with all this is that all these characters just fit. You look at them and their stories, and for some reason, they just fit. They were all pulled in by something. For all of them to be pulled in like this, it's like if they're connected in a sense. I mean, they all want to get out. They're trying to find ways. They all have theories. And I do have a theory that these characters will be our cast in the next map. Like I said, we all know the makers of Zombies did not know that we did not really like the idea of an extraction team. It doesn't connect us to the characters. It doesn't really make us want to pay more attention to the story because there isn't a set for, So they might add in a cast that, in Season 2 with the new map drop. Now, there also might be a fact that Monty could be pulling the strings in this new map. And this might be a stretch, right? This might be a stretch. I'm going to completely put that out there. This might be a stretch. But hear me out. At the end of Tag in Black Ops 4, Nikolai destroys the summoning key, right? But Monty was in the key. So by default, he should have been killed, right? And he didn't die. According to the fandom wiki and everywhere that I've looked, he is alive and kicking. He got sent to the Dark Aether instead of being killed when the key was destroyed. So the key had sent him into the Dark Aether, or something sent him into the Dark Aether. We don't know what sent him into the Dark Aether, but he got sent into the Dark Aether. And we all know Monty is an incredibly powerful person. We do know that he could pull strings and help out. Like, he saw that maybe he could have seen that his plan did not work. And he starts pulling strings to bring 4 people into the Dark Aether, which could be our next 4 characters in David, Johannes, Alice, and Pytor. And, there was a huge ripple there could be a huge ripple, actually, which I should be saying, when, at the end of the Easter egg, when we blow up Ground Zero. It's just impossible to think we blow up Ground Zero and there isn't a ripple effect. And what I'm trying to say is that Monty could shoot them out. He could have them all binded together somehow, and they all get shot out. I mean, we saw in the Origins cutscene that nobody knew each other. Nikolai, Dempsey, and Takio did not know each other, and they did not know Richtofen. They were just tasked with stopping Richtofen. And this could be, a new segue into our new characters, which wouldn't be far from, the realm of possibility. But then there's also the point from the storytelling aspect. Now, if we were to start a new story in this arc, why would I give you logs about people if we weren't going to use them, Like, there's some people that died in the logs, there's some people that I just feel like did not fit. Like, I tried looking at it every possible way, and they just did not fit. But these 4 people fit for some reason. And it's just like, especially on Pytor's part, you expand so much on Pytor, but you're not going to use them. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to use all these characters, and you're going to be able to see them. But without further ado, let's go into the conclusion part. So all in all, this is just a theory to guess who could be the next main cast. I'm not really trying to say there will be a high chance that they do show up as main characters. I'm just trying to give my honest opinion in what I've seen so far and what I've digested from, Zombies and everything and the way that things have been moving recently. I just think that they're going to add in a main cast, and I feel like it'd be easier if they just add in these 4 people, because we kind of know a little bit about them. We kind of built a little bit of a connection with the logs. Like, you could feel sorry for some of them. You could feel bad for, Pytor for being lost and then not being able to exfil and not being able to do this. Like, it is crazy the amount of things that, like, we could feel for these characters already if they do get brought in. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys and gals for watching. Make sure to leave a like, sub, and I will be in the discussion in the comments if anybody wants to say anything. Peace.